Random thought: with all these different platforms out there of that people are able to monetize, TikTok, OnlyFans, Patreon, YouTube, all these different things. What are some of the craziest things that you've seen that people are making money? And I say this because there's a story about this girl. She's 21. I believe she was, what was her job? I think she was like an obstetrician or something. But she left her job and she has an OnlyFans account where she lives her life as a puppy, literally being on a leash, going for walks, eating out of, dog food bowls, living her life as a puppy, and makes all this content and is making around $900,000 a year by being a puppy. And most recently, the video they did is her owner, whoever, she's walking, and then there's another girl who lives as a puppy chained up to the deal. And just like two little dogs kind of like get into it, that's what they did. And I'm just like, this is a thing that people are making money on. And it just blows my mind that this exists.
The creative meeting for that was like, it would be great. like, oh my God, this will be amazing. So like we're out for a walk. So I'm going down, just doing the doggy things. And then you're chained up over there by the fence. And then we get into it. Oh, that'll be so great.
I think this is a whole lot of buildup to their main goal is they're going to be walking her, and there's going to be a boy dog.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Start sniffing around and, boy, girl dogs, they do some things, and that's going to be the built up. Bow, wow, wow, yippee-yo, yippee-yay, bow.
I know Americans love dogs a whole lot, but this is taking it a bit too far. Like, geez, but, and we can say that, but $900,000 a year? What are we doing wrong? I mean, seriously. Of course, this story is only going to get her more. So now this 900,000, because people are going to go just to see it. I just want to see what this crap looks like. Okay. And see what nonsense she does. And it could be just as simple as that. And all of a sudden this goes up to 1.5 million. And then it could go back down. But even still, wow. People are watching the craziest things, right? And I can't say that I've watched a lot of crazy things. I mean, we had this is a pretty old story with the one of the girls from 90 Day Fiancé, who was really a prude on the show when she met her girlfriend in Australia. But she was very sexual in their conversations, when they were communicating long distance. But then was really reserved and conservative when they got together on the show. But then after the show, she starts up her OnlyFans, showering on camera. And then one of the things she started doing was selling farts in a jar. Like she'd literally fart in a jar, close it, and ship it off to somebody. And she did that so much because there were so many sick people out there ordering this dumb shit that she got sick, passed out from farting too much. I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, okay. Here's something. I give her credit for being authentic and making sure that she had a quality product. She could have easily faked it. She could have easily just faked whatever smells, put it in a jar. Yeah, that's me, whatever. She actually tried, and it wound up, putting her in the hospital. But she actually was trying to do the right thing. But to your point, like that's just it. There's anyone out there that wants to make money, right? Mm-hmm. There's a niche. All you guys do is just find whatever niche, and you'd be surprised. Like you don't have to get overly creative, But if you want to create an OnlyFans account where after you get a pedicure, you pour queso and salsa and all this random stuff on your feet, you'll get subscribers that'll follow that crap. And even if
do they have to be pretty feet?
Who knows? There are people who like ugly feet. There's just stuff that you can do that is just amazing. And OnlyFans is not about just, showing your hoo-ha or, anything sexual. You could have an OnlyFans where you are in the kitchen creating recipes and baking and whatever, just getting subscribers. All you do is just find a niche. And with the millions and millions of people in the world, all you need is 1,000, right? If you get 1,000 people subscribing at $5 a month, that's $5,000 a month in income.
Yeah, that's $60,000 a year. It's not just only on the OnlyFans and Patreon, but a lot of these blogs that create stories. Like I saw this story the other day, and I wasn't. And we didn't talk about it last week purposely, right? But even that whole Drake and hot sauce and the condom thing, come to find out that was also a story on Reddit. That was a Reddit thread from years ago, right? And so I'm really wondering, did this blog or this hot tea site, was that a real story with Drake? Or if I put Drake in the story, now it's going to be that much better? Because they never named the Instagram model, right?
Right.
That's supposedly suing. When you're not naming any sources, I'm really questioning a lot of it. There's no picture of this girl. And why would Drake not know the trick that most men know? You tie the knot and you drop it in the toilet and you flush it and you wait till it goes all the way down. But you got to tie the knot because you don't want that shit just coming back up. Not that the sperm is going to be any good then, but I'm just saying, at the same time, you don't want to have to pay for flooding the hotel room, you know?
Well, yeah, but I mean, this story I think is a total lie because, A, to your point, you don't name anybody, but if you're actually going to sue someone, you're going to go in a courtroom and try to say that I had sex with Drake. He wore a condom. He took the condom off, put it in the trash, and put hot sauce in it. Hot sauce is not clear. Hot sauce is red.
That was the next thing.
And so what color condom was Drake using? I'm just like, none of that story makes sense. But then you're going to try to argue that you tried to actually impregnate yourself with the content of the condom that is a mixture of red and white, has to be. And it burned, and now you want to sue Drake? Come on now.
Yeah. That's why the story just sounded crazy. We didn't attach it, but since we're talking about crazy stuff on the internet, that's definitely one of those things that I saw. It's not a video of two female human/dogs, puppies, trying to go at it. But hey, you know what? People used to love to watch women jello wrestling and mud wrestling. So this is just the next incarnation. That's all. We're in 2022.
Right. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but there's just so many options. But I guess that story, I'm picturing Drake getting ready to go out to go hit the club. Okay, keys, wallet, chapstick, gum, condom, hot sauce. All right. Driver, I'm ready.
If Beyonce can have hot sauce in her purse, he can have hot sauce in his pocket. Hey, welcome to the show. I'm Yanni Rude.
And I'm just Terrell. You ever been out somewhere and overheard two people having crazy conversations?
Well, we are those people, and we've been having these conversations since college.
Yes, it's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast, episode 72. Be sure to like, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment.
Yeah, buddy.
Your Niners.
Yeah, buddy. How about them 49ers, man? I mean, you know. So we're recording this on Sunday. Just let's clear this up, just in case anybody forgot. We're recording this Sunday morning, right? So the Sunday afternoon games have not started yet. There are two games today, 3 Eastern and 6:30 Eastern. But yesterday, and you and I talked before both of these games. We were both going to watch the games. And the Bengals, you were cheering for the Bengals, didn't think they were going to win. I told you I picked the Bengals, I picked the Niners, of course. I picked my team because I know what we do with Aaron Rodgers, okay? In the playoffs, that is. And I just want to say, the thing about this team, because especially, it was a nasty game, but the thing about this team, and I think this is where, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And that's kind of what it's been for the Niners, the way this entire, the last half of the season has gone. They finished the season strong, but the games that they've been in, they start strong and they finish kind of lackluster, or they start weak and then they finish strong. Like against Dallas, bad second half, but enough to win, right? Against the Rams, down 17, came back, won that game. We didn't lead in this game till the time ran out on the clock. So beautiful. And I think that's one of the things that as you look at, and you can almost bring this around into team. Adversity is going to make you only stronger, right? And that's what they're saying. I was listening to the press conference of what they were saying. And 2 years ago, we went to the Super Bowl. And they made reference to that. Like, I don't want to talk about 2019 because, back then we were running through teams and we were the number one seed and yes, we were going. They had a different mindset. They're like, this year, it's different. It feels different because we went through so much adversity in the beginning of the year, and even Jimmy G, who you don't believe in.
Jimmy G, I mean, you can't say enough about that guy. The shit that he takes, excuse my language, we just can consistently people try to pull him down, and all he does is try to deliver, and he leads this team. Yeah, he's the sense of calm in the huddle. He's the sense of calm in the storm, and he allows us to play football at a high level.
And I just think that the story behind that is a lot. Whether they make it to the Super Bowl, whether we win the Super Bowl, the story of what happened this season is something to be told.
I think y'all have had it's great. You're having a great postseason. Jimmy G is if y'all win a Super Bowl, Jimmy G will be another Trent Dilfer. You know,
Yes.
Average
And
quarterback.
Brad Johnson.
Just happened to be on the right team. I mean, y'all's defense really stepped up against the Cowboys and the Packers yesterday. Mm-hmm. But I'm just not a big Jimmy G fan. But I still think it's great that you've gotten to this level, gotten to this point. I lost both games yesterday because I thought the Titans would beat the Bengals. That didn't happen. Shout out to Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow to me is the future Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he's going to be that good in the NFL. Yeah, I just think he's that good. But
yeah,
and then I had the Packers. I was like, I can't bet against Rodgers going up against Jimmy G, and y'all's defense, was amazing. So, and your field goal kicker, this is really good.
Here's the problem. You said Aaron Rodgers versus Jimmy Garoppolo. That was not the game. It was Aaron Rodgers versus our defense. And Jimmy G versus Jimmy G. Because he went 0 for 5, and a lot of that wasn't his fault. Our receivers dropped the ball. I'm like, are we even going to pass the ball again? Because this looks, and all it took was one play. And sometimes that's all it takes. That first down, because it looked bleak in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Right? We were down, they had 128 yards, we had minus 10. All it takes is one play.
After today, we'll know who you're going to be playing next week. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping who would you hope to play next week?
Okay, so here's the thing about that, right? There are two things. One, would I want to play Tom Brady? Yes, because the story of Tom Brady versus Jimmy Garoppolo, because again, people like to put the quarterbacks against each other, even though they're never on the field at the same time. But that alone would be interesting just because they were both in New England. Remember, I think they wanted to get rid of Brady and put Jimmy G in, and Brady was like, yeah, that's not happening. So they traded Jimmy away, right? So there's that component. Brady grew up a 49ers fan. So there was talks of him, instead of going to Tampa Bay, going to San Francisco last year, which wouldn't have been good for him because our line was no good. He would have gotten mollywopped. That would have been his last season, okay? But that would be a great one. I think, and I can easily go, well, we own the Rams. I want to play the Rams again. It's hard. They always tell you it's hard to beat the same team 3 times. It's hard to do it twice, but it's damn near impossible to do it 3 times in the season. We already beat them twice. And the second time was a lot closer. So it doesn't matter. Because either way, we're either going back to LA where our fans can just come down the street and go, hey, remember us? We're back. Or we go to Tampa, which will be great for me because my uncle's a big Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. And I can talk shit to him when we beat Brady. So
I can't bet against Brady. But who knows? Yeah, I didn't expect Matt Stafford to beat the Cardinals last week. So who knows what could happen? It could be the craziest. What I would love to see is the 4 teams that nobody would thought would win, and that's the Bengals, the Niners, the Rams, and the Bills. Because everybody's taking the Chiefs, and everybody's going to take the Buccaneers. So many people took the Packers, and then the Titans were the number 1 seed. So you would think, okay, yeah, Bengals, you finally won a playoff game. It's been 31 years. Great. But you didn't think
we'll see y'all next season. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, didn't think they were going to beat the Titans. And now, this is their first postseason road win in the franchise history. Yeah. So I would love to see that scenario where you have the 4 teams that no one thought would make it.
I would love to see San Fran and Cincinnati in the Super Bowl again. It'll be the 3rd time that matchup has happened. We beat them the last 2 times, obviously. And also, we played them this season. And Jamar Chase went off. I mean, he is Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase, amazing combination. But we beat them, so it's cool.
We'll see. Sound like you've been smoking a lot of weed.
I, sir, am not Gary Chambers Jr., okay? I don't know if y'all heard about this, man, but there's a Democratic candidate, Gary Chambers Jr. He's running for Senate in Louisiana. His platform is includes legalizing marijuana. And he has this very interesting 37-second ad that's making news because he lights up a blunt and smokes it to talk about marijuana.
Every 37 seconds, someone is arrested for possession of marijuana. Since 2010, state and local police have arrested an estimated 7.3 million Americans for violating marijuana laws, over half of all drug arrests. Black people are 4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana laws than white people. States waste $3.7 billion enforcing marijuana laws every year. Most of the people police are arresting aren't dealers, but rather people with small amounts of pot, just like me. I'm Gary Chambers, and I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
So much.
Use your words, Terrell. Use your words.
So here's my thing. I am a believer that we should legalize marijuana and stop stigmatizing it. You got all these other states that have made it legal, and if you look at the money that's reported, keep in mind that's not all the money because it's still cash. It's not credit cards and all that. You have to use cash for it, and no one's going to report all the cash that they're bringing in. But if you look at all the money that's coming into these states, it makes sense. So I get where he's coming from. But the delivery of the message, like you could have still said all that without having the ad where you're lighting up a blunt. You know,
Would you and I be talking about it right now if he just talked about it?
No, but here's what he could do. He could have took an edible. You know, here's a pot brownie. Here's a gummy. There's nothing wrong with this. But I think it's the view of a blunt. Like when you think of a blunt, what do you think of? Smokey from Friday. Smokey from Friday. What's the senator gonna do? Y'all gonna vote in the smoke dog? Hoot, hoot.
Yeah, I think, from the standpoint of getting coverage and, the shock value definitely did it. But here's the thing. There are a lot of campaign ads that are just as wild and crazy, especially for these gun enthusiasts who go out there and shoot shit for no reason. Like, why are you out there shooting that? I'm supposed to vote for you because of that. But so him doing this is no different than them. It really isn't.
Yeah, no, it's not. I just laugh at it. I mean, it's an interesting tactic, and I hope it works. I hope they do legalize marijuana and then also stop criminalizing people and giving higher jail sentences just for people having weed.
Right. They need to go ahead and commute those sentences. Go ahead and get rid of those sentences right now.
Yeah.
Let everybody out who's in jail for that. I mean, and the question becomes, because we know your stance on Ted Cruz, but if he, in his Senate bid, did an ad like Gary Chambers Jr., would that change your mind and say, you know what? Lying Ted is now smoking Ted. We cool.
It would change my mind a bit. I'd be like, still would want to vote him out, but at least now I would have a drink with them. Or, hey Ted, you want to get a hit of this? Pass me a little bit for my cataracts. Let's pass it around, and then get high and talk to Ted and be like, so what were you really thinking about Cancun? Let's be honest with each other, Ted. We've been smoking a blunt for the past hour. I feel like we've bonded. Tell me why you lied. Why do you do the things that you do?
Hold up.
Yeah.
Last time I was in Texas, it wasn't blunts, it was more joints, because a blunt would knock anybody in Texas on their ass compared to what the East Coast is a little weaker than what you get in Texas.
Yeah. I just want to ask him some questions. Like, so why are you scared of Trump? Seriously. He talked about your wife and your dad, and you just let that go, Ted?
Matter of fact, meet my dog. Can you sniff and see if he has any balls? Ted, do you have any balls?
Yeah, I mean, I would still want to vote Ted Cruz out. Wouldn't change my mind a whole bunch. But still, I would be surprised. I would love to see a Republican candidate do it. So, this guy is a Republican candidate, I think, right?
Yeah. No, Democrat.
He's a Democrat. I would love to see like a really hardcore, far-right conservative do something like that and just see what would happen.
So here's the difference, because what was the guy's name? he was the other orange guy in the that was Jesus, John Boehner.
Uh-huh.
So when he got out of politics, you know what he did? He went to the marijuana business. Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
And this thing that's really, I think, really irks a lot of people. And the fact that you have all these politicians that stood up and were very harsh with everyone of color who was dealing weed when it was, because, well, and to be fair, it was illegal. But then now you're profiting off of it. It's like, you know, I don't see him smoking weed on camera to do it, but I can see him still going to go make his money.
Well, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's a lot of people on the right and left that have investments in the weed industry because it is going to boom. And especially as more states start to legalize it, I mean, you're going to start seeing weed shops like Starbucks, like all over every corner, where people can go to little dispensaries and get some weed. And I'm all for that, right? I am all for that. But I just laugh at this ad. I hope it works for him. You know, Louisiana voters, do you? Ted Cruz, I would love to see you smoke a blunt on live TV in an ad. That'd be awesome.
It may work for Gary Chambers. Definitely work for him to get people talking about him. Ted Cruz knows how to get people talking about him. He knows how to rile up the base, and he's already done that. And as much as your campaign has been to oust him from that Senate seat, unfortunately, Texas is going to Texas. Texas is going to Florida. Texas is going to flex us. Ted Cruz will be in there, smoking weed or not, because he knows how to talk to the base.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I saw this other shit that came in, this bullshit came into rgrtpod@gmail.com. And it says, the headline says, crack a barrel to pay over $9 million for serving cleaning liquid instead of water. I'm like, huh? How does this happen, right? Come to find out, 2014, this man was served a full glass of a cleaning chemical instead of a glass of water. Mm-hmm. Now, and his thing, he said that he took one sip and left permanent damage to his mouth and his esophagus, which resulted in numerous medical bills. Now, according to CNN, here's what happened. The jury returned a verdict of compensatory damages of $4.3 million in just 30 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. Then they awarded punitive damages of $5 million after only 10 minutes of additional deliberation. So he gets $9.3 million. And so Cracker Barrel's going to have to deal with this. I remember when we used to go back in the day, it was always about the frosted root beer mugs. But how hard is it and how easy is this for somebody? Is this a mistake that was made, or did somebody do this on purpose? Because this sounds crazy.
So for someone to do this on purpose, having worked in the restaurant industry 14 years, you would have to really go out of your way to do this on purpose, because where you have your beverage stations and all that, it's total opposite where the chemicals are. Normally the chemicals in the very back of the restaurant or back of the kitchen, and your beverage station is up here. Or in some cases, your beverage station and expo line is on this side. You have a dish machine that's way over here with the corner, and maybe there's chemicals there. You'd have to go out of your way to do that. What I think could have happened is you might have had somebody that was cleaning and they filled up a cup. Now, why they use a cup that you put drink, they shouldn't, right? You can use like a 6-pan or something and use that, but they might have put some chemicals in there and were using that to clean, do some little detail cleaning, and maybe a server got mistaken it for another glass of water and put it on their tray and took it out. Don't know. Right. You know, because I know that unless the guy asked for water with no ice, right? Most times you get a glass of water, there's ice in it. So I can't imagine they put ice in the cleaning chemical. You know, so I mean, I just don't know. But
why is the ice dancing like that?
Yeah. It's all smoking at the top. But so is it possible? Is it possible that could have happened? Yes. Have I, in my years of doing that, cleaning where I was cleaning around the beverage station? Yes, but I didn't use chemical and put in a glass. I had like a little pan, and like you just dip in your cloth or your scrub brush in and hit the stainless steel really hard. Because I'm thinking maybe that was stainless steel cleaner that they were using. So a lot of times your beverage stations are kind of stainless steel. You're trying to polish it up. Don't know, but it's possible. But for it to have been intentional, they would really have to go out of their way to do that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of torn with this because I've actually walked into a hotel room and seen the maids, using like what's the glass cleaner
Windex?
on the yeah, on the actual glasses to clean the glasses that they're putting down there for you to drink out of. I'm like, yeah, that's why I've heard of the horror stories of the coffee machine, so I've never used the coffee machine in the room in a hotel purposely because of that, right? But I've also been in places like in a bar where I remember, and it was a really hole-in-the-wall bar, when you're in there shooting pool and a dog walks in, right? Sounds like I'm about to tell a joke. So I'm at a bar and this dog walks in.
Dog walks up to the bartender. How's your bartender says, "How's your day?" And the dog says, "Rough."
Oh, you were in that bar too, because here's what happened. The bartender gives him some water, but out of what? A mixed drink glass. Instead of a bowl, puts it in a glass and puts it down on the floor for the dog to drink out of it, right? Now, I know you're all about kissing dogs in the mouth and tugging them down and all that good stuff, but I don't want to drink out of a glass a dog has been licking and tonguing it down. Thank God I was drinking a beer, otherwise I'd have just thrown up and walked out.
Okay, I totally get that, but then you gotta let that stigma go. You go to a restaurant, that fork that you have that you're about to put in your mouth has been in hundreds of mouths that same week. So you got to not think of it that way, or else you won't go anywhere, right? But I think at a bar,
you just convinced me to stay home. Okay, go ahead, continue.
Yeah. I mean, like at hotels, I'm with you. I don't drink out of the glasses unless it's like the little plastic cups that's wrapped in plastic. Mm-hmm. You got to think about the remote control. That's all germ. Don't use the phone. Put that phone to your ear, because then you're going to get an ear infection. You just never really know. But I think when it comes to what you're talking about a dog licking out of the glass, okay, they're just going to wash the glass and be fine. But when you go to a bar, a lot of those glasses have been in everybody's mouths. Now, what I don't like is when you're at a bar and the bartender, normally, attractive young lady has a bar key, the deal to open bottles, but she has it like tucked in her ass, like kind of between, her, not in her pocket. It's like literally touching her butt and jean. Or I've seen them like where they have it tucked in here, and then they're just kind of like, I'm like, that's just gross. Or the people that
just tell you to kiss her ass. That's all she's saying.
Well, yeah. Or I always look bad at people. Like, do you drink Dos Equis?
No.
Okay, so you know how a lot of people like a Dos Equis and they want it dressed, so they put the salt on the side of the neck of the bottle. Mm-hmm. That's disgusting, because when a case of beer comes to the restaurant or to the bar, they're grabbing it like this, touching the neck of the deals, putting them in the cooler.
I'm not going to tell you what that looks like, but continue.
Yeah, they put them in the coolers. They put them into the coolers, and then when you want it, they're grabbing it again. Their hands have been touching a whole bunch of stuff, and you say, "Can you put it dressed?" So then they're going to put some lime juice on the side, some salt on it, and put a lime in there, hand it to you, and the first thing the person does is licks the neck of the deal where so many hands have touched it. Just gross.
Yeah.
This is why we got the coronavirus. It's not China's fault.
It's at the bar and getting them to put the lemon in your drink and all that's been sitting right up there where everybody's just sticking their hand in it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when I was a bartender, you're cutting limes and lemons, and one falls on the floor. You're like, "Oops!" Just put it right back, and you just keep on moving. That's why I don't put lemons in my drink or limes in my drink. And you don't always wash them off. You just cut them. Could be dirty. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, no. If they put it on my drink, it's the first thing I do. I get rid of that. Not keep that. Take that back with you.
Or I might take it, squeeze it in, and set it to the side. But I'm not going to put it inside my drink. I'll do that.
No, God damn it.
I got this story off of somebody sent it to me on my IG at Just Terrell. I like rap music, right? Am I a hip hop head? No, not at all. I think
I just want to say you sound really old saying I like rap music, but go ahead.
I like rap.
The rap.
I like the rap. I'm good with the rap and the hippity hop music, and the booty shaking. But there's this story about like Jay-Z and a lot of these other artists are calling for an end of using rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials. Yeah. And I saw this and they're saying that it's presenting it as a matter of free speech and freedom of expression, and I understand that. But also, I also understand that a lot of rappers tell on themselves in rap lyrics. So if you go out and you do a whole bunch of thug shit and then you make a song about it, and then they use that as evidence that, hey, we think you did this because you talked about it right here. Verse 2. This is you, right? You can't use my lyrics against me. So I'm like, you know, I just think it's funny, even though a lot of these rappers that are quote unquote thugs, a lot of them is a character. They're really not, you know,
Right.
that way. But a lot of them telling themselves in their music.
Funny thing about this, so Bakari Sellers is on the show this week, and this is one of the questions they asked him about, right? And he's like, yeah, but if you're very specific, you know, I get the whole, you know, the artistry, but if you're very specific about, you know, on this corner and this corner, on this street and this street, and it shot him 9 times and one's in the head, and then that's exactly how the person died, then of course they're going to use the lyrics against you. You just literally given them the evidence. You just told on yourself. And a lot of people do that, right? And the thing about it is hip hop has been based in, I'm telling the truth. I'm boasting about the truthfulness of what I'm doing. Even though at the same time, we know a lot of things people are boasting about, they don't have and they don't do. The videos when they shoot, it's not at their house. That's a rented mansion. The cars, it's not theirs. You know, unless you're Rick Ross, where he's got a compound that he shoots at, cool. But and Khaled, and they have that money. But when you're coming up, that's not what it is. And the problem is, if you're out here committing crimes and then you rap about it because you want, I got to keep it real. When keeping it real goes wrong.
Goes wrong. Yep. 100%.
That's the key.
100. Well, it's like theater of the mind, right? When you said that, when it comes to radio, but you think about when hip hop first started, it was about talking about what was going on in the streets, and then you had NWA come out really talking about what's going on in the black communities and what you know cops are doing, white people are doing. I mean, so they're telling stories that people didn't know or weren't aware of. So you feel it's all real, and so a lot of rappers, they're trying to tell these stories, make themselves seem very real. Vanilla Ice, right? Remember once everybody realized Vanilla Ice wasn't this, you know, thug that he was trying to, or whatever person he was trying to portray, they turned their back on him. So I think that to your Jay-Z's and, you know, Killer Mike, Fat Joe, like Killer Mike is a highly intelligent brother. I love listening to him talk.
Yes.
And he always makes a statement that Killer Mike is, when I'm on stage, that's a character. My name is Michael so-and-so when he's on other interviews, and I totally respect him. But if you have a name like Killer Mike on stage and you're rapping about you killing somebody at the McDonald's off Crenshaw, and then we find out in the news there was somebody killed at the McDonald's on Crenshaw,
you know,
don't be upset when they come and knocking on your door to ask some questions.
But the other part that Bakari kind of brought up was about other songs, and he thinks it's more so within the culture as opposed to other cultures. Because I Shot the Sheriff, which was a country song, you know, we may remember it from Bob Marley, but it was a country song first, right? Because there really aren't any sheriffs in Jamaica. They're not called sheriffs. But that's a country song. But nobody thought that this guy really shot the sheriff. Now, had that sheriff been shot, but the deputy wasn't.
They may have some questions. I'm like, why are you asking me this? Hit play. That's you, right? If I put out a rap song about January 6th and me being in the Capitol and all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden the FBI is like, hey, we heard you were at the Capitol. No, it wasn't. You know, what's in your song? Well, you can't use that against me. That's just freedom of speech.
And to be fair, that's exactly how they caught a lot of these people, because they caught them from their social media.
Yep.
Because they're on social media. We're in the Capitol.
I wish I could have been in the room of the people that were just paid to sit and look at social media and find these stories. And they're just like, this dumbass. Click on this one. Look at this dumbass right here. Look at you.
If you still haven't watched it yet, you got to watch it. 4 hours at the Capitol. When the guy was like, well, I was just there to do this. Oh, really? Well, did you see this video of you saying, well, no, that's That's not what I meant. Oh, okay, but this is
You took that out of context. You took that when I said Nancy Pelosi, we're coming for you. It wasn't like we were really coming to get her. I was just saying in theory, like we're coming for you, like at the polls when we have to try to reelect you next time. That's
And when I said we're coming to get you, bitch, I just meant ain't that a bitch? Oh, man. Hey, look, don't forget, we drop our regular episodes, audio every Monday, video on Tuesdays on YouTube. And then on Wednesdays, we are back for Married at First Sight, Season 14, Boston.
Boston's terrible. I hate it. At least all the weddings are done after 7 hours. All
Yep.
5 weddings are done.
So the weddings are done. It's the first night. We'll see if anybody consummated, which don't think anybody, well, I don't think anybody will for the first night. But then we find out where they go on the honeymoon, how it is when they deal with the parents the day after. So this should be an interesting, at least this now starts the next phase and hopefully a better phase until they get to the very end of this. Because they sure as hell dragged out the first 3 episodes.
I think Elijah one then will. It still blows my mind because I think all of them should consummate the marriage that first night.
Of
I
course.
think everybody should. Well, you should.
Of course.
Yeah. You've been sleeping with other people who never married you. This person married you sight unseen, and you can't say, "Well, I have high morals and standards." You just married a stranger, so don't tell me about your morals.
You know,
standards.
though, it's funny you say this because there are women who, if they like you, they go, "Oh, well, I'm gonna hold out just a little bit longer." It's like, why, ladies? Why? Why hold out because this is the one that you feel could be the one? But then for the one that you're like, oh, I just feel like getting it off tonight, you just gonna give it up on the first night.
I think we should make that the random thought for next week.
There we go. So
Let's
comment
get into
below.
this.
We'll add
Let's
that
get
in the
into
random
this,
thought
yeah.
next week.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what y'all think.
I'm Yanni Root.
And I'm just Terrell.
Make sure you follow us at Yanni Rude, at Just Terrell, and at RGRT Pod.
Yeah, send us some of your random thoughts or some of the bullshit that you've seen in the world, and we'll talk about it on the show.
Because there's a whole lot of it. It's the Regular Guys Random Thoughts Podcast. Cheers.
Hey, cheers, brother.
Go Niners! Go Niners! Go Niners! Go Niners!